Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Dr. Jan Fortman with Relationship Matters TV. I hope everyone is having a beautifully blessed morning, afternoon, or evening. We are here in Chicago and we are so happy. You know why? Because we have some decent weather. It's 71 degrees and it's sunny. And wait a minute, we had turned the heat off, but then a couple of days ago, we had to turn the heat back on because it went down to 40 something. So, and guess what happened with us? So you wonder, like, why is she doing all this talking? Well, because my guest is having trouble getting in. Now, I always say technology is wonderful when it works, but sometimes it does not work. But anyway, we had a huge blackout. And my guest is a master electrician. Hopefully she can get in. And all of a sudden, everything went dark. We were watching TV and boom, everything went out. And it was like, what is going on? So fortunately, I had my little phone and we had the flashlight. We found a couple of flashlights. And then we found out that it was an outage. And it was the whole down the street, on the other side of the street, behind us. But let me tell you what really got here to me, a thought. That can happen at any time where you have no electricity, which means you cannot charge your phone. And we panicked because I only had 11% as far as my battery was concerned, and my husband only had 33%. And we were scrambling to find the flashlights. And so I said, you know what? This is a lesson. Oh, here she comes. This is a lesson. Oh, Lordy.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Hey, wait a minute. I was giving them the story about we had a power outage, and the lesson was always have your cell phone charged to 100% or have a battery charger, because I panicked because my phone only had 11%. My husband's had 33%. But just think, if it was zero and we had put them on the charger, and we would have been cut off, and it was just like a lesson. You know, I told him, I said, number one, we're going to have a flashlight in every room. That's number one. And number two, always, if we're not using our cell phones, to have them on the charger, just in case. So anyway, so happy you got here, Robin.
I am too.
What I was saying is that we have an electrician coming on, a master electrician. So let me introduce you. I am so glad you got here. And I was saying, technology works when it's wonderful. When it works, it's wonderful. When it doesn't work, eh. So anyway, let me tell them all about you, a little bit about you, before we get into our conversation. So Robin Tasco was raised in Philadelphia, and she learned the value of hard work and determination at an early age. She is a master electrician, a certified electrical inspector, and electrical plans examiner. Robin also teaches electrical DIY and an electrical exam prep course. She is an Amazon bestseller and a sought after speaker on labor and women issues. It is wonderful to have you here, Robin.
Thank you, Dr. Jan, for having me.
I'm just so happy you are here. I know you were having computer issues, and it happens. It happens all of the time. So now, okay, I was just looking, texting, folks are texting. So, first question:
Oh,
why did you decide to become an electrician?
I wish I could say that it was something that I thought of as a kid that I wanted to do because I actually have four brothers, but it wasn't. It really wasn't until after I had a child. And my stepfather, who was a master carpenter, said basically, child, you got to learn how to be able to fend for you and your son. So really, that was my why. I didn't really give a whole lot of thought to it. It was an idea that was presented to me. Actually, let me back up because as a master carpenter, my dad was actually trying to get me in a carpenters union. So he's introduced me to other women who were already in the industry. When one of them called me one day and told me that an opportunity had opened up for electricians. And I just jumped at the opportunity and was just grateful for it. So that's really how I got into it. I had a child, needed to be able to take care of him. Um, Opportunity presented itself, and I got blessed because I got in the first time. Wasn't what they were
When
looking for.
you say you got in the first time, what do you mean?
Well, what happens is in Philadelphia, their apprenticeship program for the electricians here, they only open up applications once a year, the first 2 weeks in April. And if you miss that window, you got to wait until the next year. You also you they had it's qualification. So you have to have 1 year passing algebra. You had to be at least 18 years of age. At the time when I got in, they had an age. Now it's discriminatory to do that, but they had an age of 18 to 24 window that you could apply. And once you reach the age of 24, which a lot of people did, you could no longer apply at that time. So I go back to the late 80s when I got in. And when we got a new business representative in 1992, they changed the laws here in Philadelphia. So I applied, and the way I was raised, when you go for an interview, you get dressed in a suit. So of course I got nails done. I'm in a suit. I am not what they're looking for. And I'm small. So I'm only 5'2", and I was much smaller then. And they, so, but that's what I mean when I say that. I applied the first time, passed the test. And when I got to the interview process, I had already met a lot of guys who sat on that committee. So I was already had a reputation of showing up for work and then doing the work. So that's what I mean when I say I got in the first time. I was just blessed, and I'm grateful for it.
So what's the difference between a regular, like a regular electrician, and a master electrician?
Okay, so I'm a certified electrician. I went through the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, which is a union here in the city of Philadelphia, and I went through a 5-year college accredited program through that apprenticeship program. So that's what makes me a certified electrician. Meaning that unfortunately, if you had a fire or something that happened in your home, most cases the firefighter will tell you to get a certified electrician to do it. However, the mastering of electrician comes in when you got to pass a state test for whatever city you're in. So I went beyond being a master so that I could have my own business. So to be a business owner as an electrician, I have to take a test to be a master electrician. So I took that, got my master's so that I could do the work in the city of Philadelphia as a licensed electrician. So that's the difference here.
Oh, so I looked up some statistics.
Did you?
Yes, ma'am. And there are let me get this right. 327,000. Is this right? 327,000, or is that 327? Oh, 327,547,000 master electricians currently employed in the United States.
Okay.
Only 5.7% of all master electricians are women, while 94.3% are men. Why?
She says, why?
Why?
Okay.
Why do you think that?
Well, I know that it's a non-traditional trade, and in most cases, it's more mental than anything. The work is not hard, especially if someone is training you properly to do the work. It's not hard to do. It's a very easy job being an electrician once you get the proper training and you know what you're doing. But I came along at a time where men will walk right up to you and say, "You're taking the job of a man," and have a problem telling you that. And I also found out over the years, just life experience will show up, and you'll find out. I actually was working outside of electrical closet, and I heard a white man and a black man. The black guy was talking about me, and I could hear what he was saying. And so their concept is that you're going to have children and you're going to leave the business. So why train them?
Whoa.
So a lot of women don't get in because of the harassment that you have to go through in order to just stay. And a lot of times they don't want to deal with that. The harassment of not being able to, get trained properly. So they'll label you and say you don't know anything when they're not training you. So it's really a mental game that they play on you that weakens you. Now, for me, I like I said, I grew up. I have four brothers, and I was closer in age to them. So I'm in between two boys. And for me, my brothers were my first mentors. They never told me I couldn't do anything. So when my mother told them that I had to go with them, they didn't say, "Oh, why they go jump over cars, climb trees." They don't say sit here and wait. No, they show me what to do. First of all, they don't want to get in trouble. And now I'm part of the group with them. Like if they gonna get in trouble, I'm getting in trouble with them because I'm doing the same thing with them. So when I got into this industry, I was comfortable around men because that's what I was around most of my life. And my brothers never separated me. They never said, "Oh, well, the boys is talking, you go over there." No. Our lives overlap where, we didn't have to deal with that. We all just did what we had to do. Because I came from a big family. I got 7 brothers and sisters. And so in most cases, that's what it is, Doc. They just don't want to deal with it. You're not working for periods of time. And if you're not working and you still got to feed your family, then you got to find something else to do.
Right.
That's what I
Okay.
found.
Okay. So a question came in here from Jacqueline Rogers. She says, "Do you see more young people in general going into the trades?"
I don't see that, but I think that the information is still not getting out there in the masses the way that we need for it to happen. I have 4 sons, and right now I have 2 in the trade. One is not in the electrical trade, but he's in the trade. And my youngest son is in the apprenticeship program right now here in the city of Philadelphia. So women, really, we are the future of the trades. And so it's been a concentrated effort with more people are trying to welcome more women into the trades, because like I said, I believe we are the future.
I believe it too. I believe it too. So now you started your own business.
Yes.
So before, you were working for an electrical company, or
So this is something that I tell my sons. My electrical business in my electrical job, that when I work for the union, because I'm a union electrician, when I put that hat on, that's my investor to be able to do the other things that I need to do. Because I tell my son, I come looking for a job and I leave looking for a job because the job's got to end. But the reality of it is that I don't have to start all over. I've already put my dues in so that when I go to that union job, I'm going to be making the same money from the last job, unless I'm in a higher position in supervisory position. Then you get paid a little bit more money if you overseeing the job. But as an electrician, when I show up, I can go there, get the money, and I'm okay. When I'm not working through the union and making, those bigger dollars, then that's why I went and got my master's, so that I don't have to always depend on the union to get me my job. So if I'm not working, then I'm searching for my own contracts to do my own jobs.
okay, okay. So when you go on a job, they know that you in the union, so they have to pay. They can't do that where they would pay the man more and then the woman less. But because you're union, they have to pay you the same, unless of course you your own business,
Right.
and then you're the one who decides what it is, that whatever it is you're doing, how much you charge.
Yes, and that's only because I haven't decided to go as a union contractor. So right now, my jobs haven't been big enough for me. They've been big enough for me to survive if I'm not working through the union. So I got to do what I got to do to feed my family. So there's no arguments for that. But if I get a big enough job that's, a few 100,000 or millions of dollars, then, I can talk about, going union, because I do believe in it. But at the same time, I haven't found anything that big yet.
Okay, so can you do jobs in other states, or is it just Philadelphia?
I'm licensed in the city of Philadelphia. If I want to do a job in Chicago, I have to be licensed in Chicago to as a master electrician there. So I can, but I got to take a test and reapply all over again in that
Oh,
state.
you would? Oh, and you would have to take another test
I got to take
and
probably the same test or something because it's a multiple choice test, but I would have to take it again in that state.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So, okay, got a text in here. It says, the question,
Mhm.
as a master electrician, what is the most difficult part of your job?
It for the What's the most difficult part for me is the back office stuff, and that's where I have a problem at with growing, because I know how to be an electrician. I know how to show up and do the work. I know how to facilitate my workers, but the back office, uh, the estimates that come in, the different stuff that I would have to do in order to get a bigger job. I call back office stuff. You know,
Okay.
putting in, you got to put in, you got to do the proposals that they give you. It's a lot of paperwork that goes into it, and it has to be right. Like, I don't play with that. So, you talk about taxes, payrolls, all that kind of stuff. Like, so my husband's an electrician, and all my sons, um, I've been bringing them in since they were little young men, helping me on the job. So it's nothing for me to get help. It's just, okay, all right, you know how to do this. All right, run those wires through there. All right, I need to take it in that box. All right, do this. That's no problem. But when I get something a little bit bigger, so my area right now that I practicing really right now, the only jobs that I'm looking for is the EV chargers, is the electrical vehicle chargers. So I do those, and I do upgrades for services. So if someone want an electrical charger put in their house for their electric car, and they don't have enough power from the utility company coming in, then I got to upgrade. So you might have 100 amps coming in, 100 amp service coming into your house, and now you want this EV charger put in there. Now you need to, at least, you might have to go up to a 200 amp service. So now I have to upgrade it. And people don't realize that you'll get these electric cars, and it will give you a plug, but that plug is only for like what we call is level 1, which is for 110 outlet that's in your home. But if you want to charge where it's not going to take more than 8 hours, then you want to get the 220 line, which means that's like a dryer or a stove line or something like that. You got to get something a little bit bigger. If not, it's what we call trickle charge that you have when you just plug it into your regular outlet. So you really need to get a dedicated one, if you will, for your electrical car. So that's the lane I stick in right now.
Didn't you invent something, or were you a part of inventing something or something?
I'm looking into. I want to have my own electrical charging device for people's charging who want to charge their cars. So you got all these other companies that have their own. That's something that I was looking into. Um,
Something you create, inventing?
well, right now you don't even have the, it's like putting somebody else's brand on. Is already tested and proven. I
Like,
go
what do they call it? White label or something like that?
Yeah, you just basically partner with somebody. And then you
Okay.
put your name or whatever name you come up with. But that's my idea what I want to do.
Okay. So look, we're going to take a break, and when we come back,
Mhm.
I want you to give folks like me and folks in my audience who we know nothing about electricity, and we want to know give us some tips, some things that we could do without calling an electrician who's going to charge you, I don't know how much money just to come in your house.
Okay.
And then when they get in there, by the time they finish, it's like, oh my God. But I know, because I talked with you before, that there are some things that we could do on our own without getting electrocuted. so, so, so we're gonna come. I'm gonna do a couple of commercials, and then we're gonna come back, and we're gonna get into that because well, yeah, we'll get into that because I started to say about something I told someone today that you told me, and I told another person that too, and they went, "Oh." So anyway, so we'll be right back with Robin Tasco, master electrician. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Tasco Master Electrician. So here is a question before I get into my stuff. Is there from Jacqueline Rogers, is there a lot of development going on in your area to get those big contracts that you were talking about?
Well, right now, infrastructure money is going on everywhere. Um, but that's the back office stuff that I need help with. You got to be able to bid on those big contracts. You got to be able to, have a capability statement to prove that you can be able to do stuff like that. So typically, I was looking to be able to partner with somebody who's already been doing it. But so yeah, it is. But it's going on everywhere. I just want to be able to answer.
Okay. So now, Robin,
Yes.
you told me something, and I told them to two people today about light bulbs, changing light bulbs. Now,
Okay.
tell my audience what you told me.
Okay. I don't remember what all I told you. Um, okay. All right. So I have some props here because I'm a show
Oh,
me person. So
okay.
the regular incandescent light bulb that you have in your house, it's shaped like this. So those were the regular ones we were using, right? Then they change. So if you think you're saving money, you're not. That's the whole thing. Then they went to this is what they call a fluorescent light bulb. All right. Now we're with the LEDs. So the fluorescent, we got more light using the fluorescent. And when these came out, I guess in like 2000, early 2000, I'm not really certain when they came out, but they were bright and they did look like this, but they had the swirly fluorescent inside. They gave you a lot more light. Now they have the LEDs, and you can have 9 watts and get a whole lot of light. And it's going to save on your utility bill. So the fluorescents and the incandescent lamps were measured in watts, your wattage. The LEDs is measured in lumens. But you can have like a 60-watt fixture and put in a 9-watt LED, which they measure in lumens, that's going to save on your utility bill. So I was telling Doc that I had a girlfriend and I came over her house and I did a consultant job with going through her house and looking at some of her electrical stuff. And I seen she had incandescent lamps, all her lamps and all in her lights. And I'm like, Lynn, what's up with that? I'm like, we in 2022. Why you still got these incandescent lamps in all your lamps and stuff? And she said, oh, well, I'm waiting till it blow out and then I'm gonna change it. I'm like, girl, you ain't doing yourself no service by saving and waiting until those light bulbs blow out. You need to change them now and save on your utility bill. So that's a tip most people don't realize, especially you just don't know if you're not paying attention to that kind of stuff. So do yourself a favor, save on utility bill, and go out and get some LED lamps or light bulbs. As electricians, we don't really call them bulbs, but they're your lamps. It's, your light bulbs to go inside your lamps. And the other thing is that you must do, you have to look at the wattage that fixture say that it can handle. So if it say that it's only good for 60 watts, this we're talking in the past though, but you still have to pay attention to the wattage and you got to put the right size light bulb in it for that fixture. If not, you're going to burn the insulation on the jacket of the fixture wire. And then,
Okay, ho. Jacket, fixture wire.
Okay. The jacket on the fixture wire is the wire that comes off of the fixture. The jacket is the installation that's on it.
That's around the wire?
Around the wire. Yeah, I don't really
Okay.
think techie, but yes, that's what it is. It's the insulation. We call it the jacket, the insulation that's on the wire itself. Thank you, Doc, for stopping me.
So I like jacket. I told you, we, at least me, No, nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
No, nothing.
I'm here
And
to
you know
help.
what? Those okay, the LEDs. The only thing about the LEDs, uh, uh, is that you can't get that warm, or can you? That that kind of warm look. They're so bright.
Well, they come in different you have they'll say bright white, they'll say they have different names for them, and you really have to test them out to see which one gives you the ambiance or the lighting that you want. Some of them have daylight, so they have different terms for the LEDs that you're looking for. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
yeah.
So now another thing. Now I call it the circuit breaker box, but what do you call it? What is it? The name?
It's the panel. It's your panel box,
My panel box.
your circuit
Okay,
breaker box, your
okay.
fuse box. That's
Well, we don't use fuses anymore. At least most people don't. I think some of the old houses still have fuses.
yes, they
So,
do.
how do you know, number one, how many of those switches that you need? And number two, how do you know what goes where?
Okay, that's your electrician. All right. So let me share some things with you that you need to know in your home. So
Yeah,
first thing I want to say is I'm going to give out a free ebook that's going to give you some safety tips that you can use around your house. Okay. And right now I'm going to go over some safety tips as well. Okay.
thank you.
So here, so here's my disclaimer. The stuff that I tell you about, I would say that if you're not comfortable or if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Get an electrician, get a certified electrician, a licensed electrician to do the work for you. Okay. I'm an electrician. I can do all the work I want to do in my house as an electrician. The DIY stuff I do is I take people from their panel box in their basement, garage, or wherever it is to wherever the device that they want to work on safely. Okay. So your panel box that you're talking about have circuit breakers in it. So let's start with that. What people don't realize is that your breaker would trip, your circuit breaker would trip for, and let me show you. I got a circuit breaker. Here's your circuit breaker, right? So this would trip if you have too much stuff on this line that your wire is coming to from your house. If it's too much power on it, it's a over current safety device. So it's designed to trip so that it saves you from fires or anything that's dangerous. The other reason why it would trip is because um a short circuit. If you cut into the wire or the wire got nicked and then it touches against metal or something like that, is designed to trip. All right. So this is your circuit breaker. And what happens is when it trips, it goes into the middle. And then what you're supposed to do safely is never stand in front of it. You're supposed to stand to the side of your breaker and you're supposed to switch it all the way to the off position and then switch it back. Now, the reason why you don't stand in front of it is because if it is too much power on it, it could arc back at you and you can get hurt. So you never stand in front of your panel box when you resetting your breaker. Okay. You also never stand in front of your panel box if you have your basement gets water in it or your garage, wherever your panel box is. You shouldn't stand in any water anytime you have to do anything with your circuit panel box. The other thing is something else I was thinking of besides that. You're not supposed to stand in front of it when you're resetting it. You're not supposed to stand on any water or have things in front of your panel box. Nothing is supposed to be in front of it. And I say that because I go to people's homes and they'll have cabinets in front of it. They'll have boards in front of it. And it's been there, just sitting in front of it. So none of that debris, nothing is supposed to be in front of it in case of emergency. You need to get to. You're not supposed to have to move anything from in front of it. And then the most important thing that you can do. So those you can do that. You can reset your breaker. That's how you reset it. Okay. You could also, if you do not have a panel schedule, which identifies every room that's in your house is a panel schedule. So this is something you can do, because if you hire an electrician to come in there and do it, this is what I'm telling you to do is exactly what they're going to have to do. Now we got different tools and stuff that we can use to make our job a little easier for us. But as a homeowner, is you just basically got to cut all your breakers off at a time, and then have some kind of radio light or your cell phone, and you're asking each other, okay, all right, what came on when I switched? And mind you, don't stand in front of the panel, because power is still coming in from the utility company, even though is nothing, once you cut it off, is nothing there, but it's still power coming into your home. Okay, so my thing is always being safe. So basically you got to check it one by one, okay, and see what all goes off when you cut it back on and you cut it back off, cut it on, cut it off, make identify it that way. So you don't want to say, this is Dr. Jan's room, when you say this, so it's her office, and you're saying, okay, this is Dr. Jan's office, because when you do it like that, that becomes your panel schedule. And say you move, now is identified by the people who live there. So typically you want to do it according to the rooms. You'll say, okay, all the lights went off in the living room, the lights in the receptacle. So you call it your living room. So you identify the circuitry that way that's attached to your breaker. Okay. And your panel, you have on one side, you have is the I side on your left hand side, and on your right hand side, and I know it's look backwards here, on your right hand side you got the even numbers. So on your panel schedule you have 1, 3, 5, 7, depending on the size panel box you have. You might have a 24 space breaker panel box, you might have a 40 space panel box. Whatever it is, the numbers to your left hand side are your odd numbers, your numbers to your right hand side are all even numbers. So that's how you identify it. Circuit 1 is going to be the living room lights and receptacles. That's how you identify it. Circuit 2 could be everything that's in your living room for your receptacle and your light. So that's how you identify it. But you can do that yourself safely. Okay. So those are some tips for how to create your panel schedule for your house.
That's something that so that I was talking to a nurse today, and I was telling her I didn't know about even and odd size,
Right.
but I was telling her. She said, "Girl, yeah." She said, "Because my son, he'll just cut everything off, and then I'm upstairs and he's downstairs. Okay, is this on? No, that's not it. Is this?" And so I was telling her uh, about labeling, and she said, "Yeah, I really need to do that."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and I like what you said about, instead of labeling like uh, so and so's room or whatever, but like living room, kitchen. Okay, so
Front bedroom, middle
from
bedroom.
bedroom to the left, master bedroom.
Yeah.
Well, not even master, because if somebody else moves in, their master might be a different bedroom. So like bedroom, wherever they are associate
Right.
located in the house. So now, how do you know? Like in my kitchen, I will make sure that I don't have the microwave on and the toaster on at the same time.
Okay.
So, how do you know, or is there a way an electrician can come in so that I can have the microwave on and the toaster on at the same time?
Absolutely. That is definitely a job, the electrician. So typically in your kitchen, according to the National Electrical Code, you're supposed to have at least two um, appliance circuits in your kitchen. Now, when I say typically, it's because the National Electrical Code is just the minimum. So you can always have more than what's required. But your microwave should be on its own circuit. Because, well, some people do have a microwave on their counter, but a lot of people have it above their stove if they have a microwave. So
Yeah.
that's typically on its own circuit. And then for your toaster, those are appliance receptacles that's along your counter so that you can plug those in. And those are supposed to be two dedicated circuits just for your appliances because they typically um, generate more power. So they're, I don't want to get real technical about it, but they're typically 20,
They
they can
pull a lot.
pull
Yeah.
more. Okay. So yes, it already, so first of all, if it sounds like if you got to do one, got to choose between one or the other, you don't have enough circuits in your house, in your kitchen. And
How?
if your breakers are constantly tripping, then you probably don't have enough power in that particular room where it's tripping all the time. It's not enough circuits for that particular area.
Well, the thing is, I don't know. I'm just scared to do it.
You,
So, no, what I'm saying is, I just make sure I don't have them both going at the same time because I don't want to trip it. Because if I, because I have not labeled the panel box, and so I just say, okay, well, uh, I just make sure that the toast is not on when I turn the microwave on. But I see what you're saying. So maybe like an electrician, if I do it and it trips, then I know that I need an electrician to come in and do whatever he needs to do.
yeah, give
She
you
needs,
another, give you
wait,
another.
no, not he.
She,
Whatever she needs to do.
yes. And trust me, I listen, I got a bunch of friends who live in Chicago who are electricians who can help you out.
Women.
Women.
Okay.
I got some women. I got some
All
women
right.
friends, electricians.
All
Yeah.
right. That sounds good. That
Yeah.
sounds good. That sounds good. So, any other little tips you can think of?
Yeah.
I'll turn. Yeah, give us some more stuff that
Okay.
we can do.
Okay. So I just want to show you number one, how you can identify the difference between the receptacles. And receptacles are outlets. So here's a 15 amp receptacle, right? And this one, and you have these throughout your house pretty much. And then you have a 20 amp receptacle. Now here's the difference. One has a slot, one has a has a slot on it. That's a 20 amp. It looks like it's winking at you. This is considered your ground. So you can either have your ground up or your ground down. Now, the importance of me explaining this to you is because you know how we get these little plug-in things that for scent that we want to have in our house, or Christmas time come, we want little lights. Well, if it's when you plug it in, if the ground isn't down and you got to turn it around, you can, I do DIY stuff to show you how to change out a receptacle safely from your circuit panel box to wherever this device is so that you can do it yourself. So the DIY stuff I do are changing out a receptacle, changing out a light switch, or changing out a pendant light. Now, your pendant light is the light that goes over top of your dining room table or your kitchen counter. Those are pendant lights. And I specified that because people think, oh, I can do my, she's going to show me how to change out a fixture. It could be a ceiling fan. I'm like, no, we ain't doing ceiling fans because ceiling fan has too many moving parts. It's too much stuff. But a pendant light, that's something that you can change out. I can show you how to do it safely, and you can do it yourself. You might want to change that chandelier that's pendant light, not chandelier. I'm sorry. You might want to change the pendant light that's over top of your dining room. You definitely might want to change out the one that's over top of your kitchen cabinet, counter, or the ones that at the top of your step landing or in your foyer when you first come in. That's something that you might want to change because you just want a different one, and I can show you how to do that safely. Now, the safest thing for those are they already working. You just want to change them out for appearance reasons. Okay, aesthetics. I want a different color. I want, a different kind of lamp that fixture that I saw. And, I took one of Robin's DIY classes and I could do it myself because she showed me how to go to the panel box, don't stand in front of it, identify the circuit, cut it off, go back, make sure it's off, and then you can take it down safely and do it over. So that's whether or not it's a pendant light, whether or not it's a receptacle. And we change our receptacles for a number of reasons. Now they got the USB cords in them. Now they got tamper resistant so that you can't stick one thing in there. When you plug it in, both teeth or knife blades of of whatever you sticking in there, appliance, your lamp, whatever you sticking in there, both of them had to go in at the same time so that no one gets hurt. All right, those are the new ones they did. So now if you don't have a tamper resistant receptacle in your house, that might be a reason why you want to change it out. Again, all I do is show you how to do it from the panel safely to wherever that device is. And once I show you how to do one, you can do all of them. Okay.
Let me ask you something, Robin. You said something about the grounding being up or down. Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's just that the point I was making about it is if you have certain things you get now, like the little plugins, like I was saying, you plug in and they got like the scented, you can plug it in, it's almost like a candle. Well, depending on the way that you can plug it in, it might interfere with the plug. So you might have to switch it around. So that might be a reason why you might want to learn how to do something like that. Okay. So, receptacles are really a big deal now. They are real fancy. Like I said, this is an older one. It's not tamper resistant. The tamper resistant ones have like a little shutter inside there. It's like a little shutter. And it's a safety device so that your kids who's curious won't be able to stick something in it. If you got your little furry children, they can't lick it and get shocked or hurt or anything like that. So that's why they came out with those tamper resistant ones.
Wow. Okay. I just got a text and I have to just put it in. What she said. Her name is, I looked on here, Vanessa. And Vanessa said, great information. Great information.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Wow. Look like the time is going. You got anything else?
Yes. So let me finish saying
we got about 4 minutes.
4 minutes? That's it. It's already
the time just goes. Whoop.
All right. So your switches, right? Your regular toggle up and down switch has an on and off on it. Okay. If it doesn't have an on or off on it, it's a switch that will allow you to cut the light on or off from different locations. And those kind of switches doesn't have an on or off on it. That's how you know it's either a 4-way switch or a 3-way switch. And those are kind of switches. If you're upstairs, you can cut the light off. As you come upstairs, you can cut the downstairs light off. Okay. So with the 4 minutes, I have a free ebook for you, Doc. I gave you the link is www. Where is it? You have it, Doc? The link for the book is www.tascoart.com/book. You go there and I have some more safe tips for you, electrical safe tips for you. I do also custom furniture and African art. So if you go on there, you can look at the site. That's where I am. But if you go to the /book, you will get the free ebook that gives you some electrical tips. Okay. Wow, that time really went by.
I tell you that the time goes by so very, very fast. And I know that they will be, look, I want the ebook.
You got it.
Because let me do the cover here. So they'll see what the cover looks like. So that's Electrical Safety 101. Tips straight from a master electrician herself. I like that. Yes, indeed.
I have because I'm an inspector, I got an inspector tips in there for your home that you should be looking at on a regular basis. There's so much stuff to tell you.
Oh my goodness.
Words about your office It's some good stuff in there for you, Doc, and for your family. All our
Okay. And one thing I wanted to say right quick, this is what she told me. And I talked to someone else again about that today. About when you're not using
oh
like your computer, and you told me
yes,
I cut my computer off each time, and I'm like, I don't cut my computer off, I leave it on.
yes,
But the lady that I talked to today, she told me, this other lady, she told me that her grandfather always told her, cut off everything,
yes,
unplug this, unplug that, because even though, like, just like your TV, even though you're not watching it, it's still draining, you
yes.
know. And then you told me about my computer right quick, because I got 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Um, uh,
basically, the energy is there. So even though you're not using it, you're still using the energy because the power is there. So yes, with your computer, you should shut it down and reboot it anyway. Okay. So Doc, you were saying how you don't never cut it off. You need to cut it off. It's just like your phones. It's constantly running. And that's a computer right there. So yes, you need to shut it down and reboot it so it can continue to work properly. Okay.
and I didn't do it yet, but I got to make sure that everything is closed out, and that I won't lose anything.
Mhm.
But Robin, thank you so very, very, very much.
You
Uh,
welcome. Very,
I,
very much.
and, and I mean, I've learned some things, and I know my audience has. I know they have learned some things, because it's especially being women. We just don't know a lot of stuff, But one thing you did tell me about the light bulb, and I am going to look at the lumens.
Yeah, it's called lumens instead
The
of white.
lumens,
Mm,
right, right. Because I got a lot of LEDs, and
right.
I was going back to incandescent because I didn't know
Uh-oh.
that. Okay, I won't, because I didn't know that you could get the LEDs, like, a warmth kind of, because I don't like that. Everything looks like whoa.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
You can get a small
But
lumens for that. You know,
okay,
you can get a
but
setting. It doesn't have to be that bright, but yes, look into it and look and find out which one works best for you. But please don't get no incandescent lamp.
I won't. Yes, yes, ma'am.
We want
Thank
to
you,
say right.
Robin.
You
Thank you so very, very much for
have
being my guest. You have given so much value to us. And I wish you were here in Chicago, because, girl, look, I know a whole bunch of folks that would be calling you. You might have to move here. I don't know. So we got one more comment before we go, from Jacqueline Rogers, and she says, "Great information and inspiration."
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad it helped. Here's my motto. I want to rob the grave and share what I know with the world, because it don't make no difference for me to have it if I can't share it. So, Doc, if you get more comments from your audience and they want to find out more stuff or got more questions, please just let me know. I'm here to serve.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you. You have a beautiful, blessed rest of your evening.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, bye bye.
Bye now.
Wow, this has been great. This has really been great. And I'm leaving this up here, so I hope you all wrote this down. www.tascoart.com/book, so that you can get her ebook. Keep it, and whenever you get, to do anything, look at that ebook. So thank you all for being with me today. I really appreciate it. I want you to be with me next week when I have another amazing guest on the show. So have a beautiful, blessed rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye bye.